CENGN for organizing and setting up this summit. I've had the opportunity to sit since this morning through all the presentation. I just thought they were excellent content, fun presentation. So really thank you, and then thank you for allowing us to present to you. And really the whole day was around how the network are going to transform, how they're going to virtualize, how they're going to leverage cloud, and how ultimately the what networking are going to be around transforming, modernizing, and virtualizing to ultimately provide better revenue and better OpEx savings for our customers. And it really weaved in really well to what I was going to present to you today. And the title that we picked was about how to boost your network's IQ. How do you make the networks smarter? And for me, having again the opportunity to listen to all these other presentations was really, really good, because it really complements what I'm going to present to you in the next 20 minutes. Being back in Ottawa for me, as you heard, started my career at Nortel many years ago in Montreal on a product that was called OC48 at the time, transport optical. You thought that we would have plenty of wavelength and plenty of bandwidth at the time, and we wouldn't need to upgrade any more than that. But over the years, Ottawa was a key part of my career. I had a chance to build a lot of relationship with partners, suppliers, and obviously a lot of colleagues in Lab 10 on Carling Avenue. And when I left, we were at the point of delivering 100 gig systems, multi-terabit over coherent technology in an environment around Ottawa that not only is around Sienna, but a lot of other companies and suppliers around a very vibrant community. And for me, it's now been almost more than a year that I've actually joined EXFO. And I wanted to give you a bit of a view of who we are. The company got funded about a bit more than 30 years ago by Jean-Marie Lamond, which I know a lot of you know, headquartered in Quebec City. An initial focus around test and measurement, and today we're the #1 and have been #1 in portable test set and measurement globally in the world. And over the years, the portfolio has expanded. We've added copper testing capability, we've added fiber to the antennas, we've added RF capability, and ultimately providing a complete set of test and measurement when our service provider customers turn up the network. Also, over the years, the company has expanded its portfolio into not only for turn-up of network, but monitoring and operation of services by having service assurance portfolio and analytics. So we're now having a complete end-to-end portfolio from simulators in the lab to network turn-up to service operation and service assurance product with analytics. We sell to about 90% of the top 90% of the top 100 service providers. We employ about 1,500 employees globally, with major R&D centers in Quebec City, Montreal, Toronto, some presence here in Ottawa, and as well global R&D centers in the US, India, and so on. One of the probably less known fact about EXFO is that we have actually the largest active assurance deployment in the world right now for a VoLTE application with Verizon. So again, at the service level for voice over LTE, we've got that deployment. So overall, a company that when I decided to join, there's many reasons for me to join. One, as you heard today, the fact that it's a Canadian company was important to me. Being able to take and be part of bringing this company to the next level was very challenging, but also very motivating. And on the strategy and portfolio side, what really interested me about EXFO is the fact that as the world modernizes, as the network starts virtualizing, how the role of service assurance in the world is going to be on demand and virtual, how you assure the service at the subscriber level, at the network level, at the service level, will play an even more critical role going forward. And not only that, it will be an integral role in network management systems And that's what I'm going to take you through and talk to you through later on in my presentation. So let's talk about market dynamics. And I know you've heard a lot about market dynamics today, but I thought I'd share with you what I view as my top 3 real market and bandwidth that is really, in my mind, the fundamental value and fundamental transformation that's driving network modernization. And the first one is we're incredibly connected. And thanks to our customers, Ericsson, it took 100 years to connect a billion cities, a billion places. Within 25 years, we've connected 5 billion wireless subscribers. And we're now on the verge of a new milestone. And you heard that number varies. People say it's 30 billion users, 50 billion. But we're on the verge of hitting that new milestone of connecting 50 billion devices, whether they're subscribers, laptops, computers. And it's not just the connection of having so many devices together for me that is important, but as consumer is our appetite for video. We communicate more and more with video. Our presentations contain more and more video. And a few years ago, I'm a big golf fan. For those who like to watch golf, remember when HD appeared? Watching the Masters golf tournament in high definition where you can actually see the ball? Well, standard definition video got replaced by HD, and now are being replaced by 4K. Our appetite for higher quality, bigger screen is going to continue. And what you can see at the bottom here is the amount of bandwidth it takes to download the typical protocol of video for 1 minute. On average, movies are 2 hours. Multiply that by 120 minutes, it'll give you the amount of bandwidth that you require to continue to satisfy our appetite for video. 50% of mobile traffic today is video. By 2020, we believe it's going to be over 75 to 80%. So not only are you connecting many more devices, but the devices want more video, more higher definition video. The other market highlight for me, which is really critical, is cloud. We've heard it all around this morning. We all started using cloud for our pictures on phones. But the real paradigm shift for me is the fact that now, not only the small and medium enterprises are leveraging workflows on the cloud, but the Fortune 100, the FTSE 250 are all leveraging cloud as a way to get better efficiency out of their IT spend and put more and more workflows into the network. So a big consumer thrust on connection and video, and a big business enterprise thrust on cloud, which ultimately for me are the key fundamental market shifts that is driving and fueling our business. Because it forces, because of the amount of scale now, it forces service providers to modernize the network. And I just wanted to leave you with a quote on cloud, just so you remember. It's one of our biggest customers in Web 2.0, web scale. When you look at the amount of business, the bandwidth they've added in 2016 is equivalent to the last 7 years combined. So the impact of cloud is continuing to fuel bandwidth. And so therefore, as I said earlier, it's the advantage of this network bandwidth requirement that's forcing fiber modernization, pushing fiber all closer to the home, fiber closer to the antenna, actually fiber in the antenna now. 5G, you heard about it. Cloud, everybody, all the service providers are looking at how do I take my central office today and I will modernize it through cord into a data center. Virtualization, and then when you add that with the intelligence analytics, you truly are transforming your network. And as you know, I've had over more than 25 years of experience in this. What's really, for me, the paradigm shift, and I'm not trying to downplay 5G or fiber or cloud, but what is really the paradigm shift from a network transformation point of view is virtualization and intelligence. Virtualization and intelligence allows us now to really create a new opportunity, not just from a network modernization, but for Canada. And what it means for me is now with Virtualization Intelligence, we now have the capability to offer on-demand. On-demand scale, on-demand quality, on-demand workflows, and it completely shifts the way you think about network, the way you manage and operate your network. And I thought that the best analogy, and I'll grant an oversimplified analogy, to explain to you how the world is going to evolve in terms of how you assure your network, how you operate your network, was to actually use an analogy of our road network system. So today, as we add and continue to add cars, and a lot of you have now been stuck in traffic coming from Montreal. I know these days, with all the constructions, we got plenty of congestions, but in Hong Kong, Mumbai, all these cities that we've been traveling to. So what do? Well, you upgrade your infrastructure. You add more lanes. You add more fiber. You add more routes. Maybe you scale your infrastructure by adding 5G, by adding more capacity. Maybe you start using new tools to bring more intelligence so you get better efficiency out of your network. Road network. As an example, you saw the advantage of the new application, Waze, which is supposed to be smart. But when you actually look at how you use it, not really smart. But GPS, Waze was in a way ways to provide better efficiency out of the road network system. But what is the end solution for the road network system? It's actually starting to bring more intelligence into the network. It starts bringing video cameras and connecting with street lamps using sensors from cars, connected cars. This is the type of information you get out of Tesla with their sensors. How you connect all of that information through an intelligent platform? How do you automate, orchestrate? And what's key here, how do you do this in real time? Velocity is absolutely key. If that information doesn't come in and the system doesn't act intelligently, quickly, then you won't get the efficiency. It's exactly where we need to go with our smarter networks and our smarter infrastructure. Exactly the same way. Our sensors, our cameras, are our probes in our network. We have to be able to, by the way, to monitor the network on legacy. The same way you're not going to have connected cars in your own network in the future. You will have connected cars, but you'll have legacy cars. So how do you manage, automate, orchestrate with legacy equipment, with next generation equipment? And how do you bring that intelligence into an intelligent platform that ultimately makes decisions and makes certain that you have a better, efficient network? So for me, the CENGN theme of the day for the summit of smarter world and smarter infrastructure couldn't have been a better theme for us at EXFO as we are looking at how the networks are going to evolve in the future and how do we need to boost the network IQ. And we're not the only ones saying this. Patrick Kelly, for those who are familiar and work into the SDN NFV world, you're familiar with he's a known entity. He does a lot of research around NFV, SDN, virtualization, and BSS, OSS. And the key quote for me is in the middle, that the next generation assurance solution will be critical in automation, automating a closed loop in the hybrid network. Hybrid network being you're going to have legacy and next generation network, and how in that closed system service assurance will be critical. And like in the example of Waze, good enough, which means a good enough application, good enough won't be good enough. Being able to go and just get information from your passive probes in silos for a particular service is not going to be good enough. They're going to have to be integrated in terms of how you get the information and how you monitor the network. So we believe that in the way that how do you actually boost your network IQ has got these 5 activities that needs to be implemented. And it starts with early stage network validation. How do you simulate it in your lab? How do you actually go into physical deployment to actually simulate the workflows? Test automation is going to be critical. How do you actually have live traffic, passive analysis? How do you inject through active probes? How do you inject real live traffic so that you can monitor how the network's going to perform? Security, do security testing, and then also real-time analytics. And I'm going to focus on two. They're all important, but there's two in my mind that are really, really going to enable the smarter networks being able to monitor and be operational. And the two are test automation and real-time analysis. And so let me start off with automation. This is about taking all of these scripts that we have today in the network and how we test them. And a lot of them are manual. But if you talk to service providers, if you listen to Ibrahim this morning, how they manage and test the network is a lot of little scripts and manual kind of automation of activities of testing. So this is taking complex manual, some script, and making it a very simple automated test execution. But we also believe that if you actually add more intelligence to the test automation, we call it test orchestration. Leveraging intelligent test applications or probe or process, and leveraging your knowledge around process and workflows. For those who are familiar with SDN and NFV, we talk about service orchestration and service chaining, and you've heard about that this morning as well from Kevin from Juniper. Well, what we're saying is it's not just about service orchestration. You need to do more. You need to do test orchestration as well. There's going to be tons of information coming from the network, from network elements to legacy probe, to passive probes, to virtual probes in the future. You need to automate and orchestrate that test. The second one is analytics. And for those, again, everybody understands it's about crunching information from different layers, different set of information, and you correlate that information. But I think what's really critical in our mind is the fact that you will do it with real-time 3D analytics. Today's network, today's analytics platform, often what they'll do is they'll probe the network element every 15 minutes. Download SNMP files every 50 minutes. Well, that won't be good enough in the network of the future. VNFs today push data in real time. If you're going to have an on-demand service that's going to get enabled, turned down into a specific region, you better be able to do analytics real time. And why 3D? Because you got to touch all three levels of the network, the services, and the subscriber. So the handsets, the VoLTE, or the network that's behind an EPC core IMS network. So when we put all that together, I really believe that we at EXFO are in a great position to help our service provider customer migrate and modernize the network. And I really believe that with that, smarter networks are going to be in sight. And when I reflect back around Canada and this shift, this paradigm shift that's taking place, reflect back on how Canada was a leader when it was time to come out with digital switching. You heard from Terry this morning on data networking with Newbridge. When it was time to be the front runner on optical networking, with obviously Nortel, Sienna, ALU playing a major role. BlackBerry with handsets and smartphones. This is a new market shift. And the companies that are going to win, the companies that are going to actually make a difference, are companies that know how to build networks, companies that have got long-established network expertise or will hire people with that network expertise and bring that in the concept of a new world, virtualized world based on intelligence and smartness. And I really believe that whether it's Ottawa, Montreal, Quebec City, Waterloo, or Halifax, Nova Scotia, I think we're in a great position to leverage the assets that we have in Canada to really respond to this new market shift, a new paradigm shift. And I'll bet you that EXFO will play a critical role in enabling smarter networks. Thank you very much.